Hello, and welcome to Getting to Good Enough, a podcast to help you let go of perfectionism so you can do more of what you love. I'm Shannon Wilkinson, a life coach in Portland, Oregon. I'm a recovering perfectionist who's getting better at good enough.
And I'm Janine Adams, a certified professional organizer in St. Louis, Missouri, and I'm lucky enough to be naturally good at good enough.
And today, we're talking about creating systems so that backlogs don't occur. Hey, Janine.
Hey, Shannon, how are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Good. I'm great. I got a new haircut. Not a new haircut. I got a haircut. So I'm feeling sassy.
Why is it not new? It's not a new style?
Well, yeah, exactly. It doesn't look a whole lot different, but it's always nice to get a haircut especially when you have short hair.
Yeah.
Like I
do.
remember
that.
Yeah.
It was always like, it felt so dramatically different, even if you only got like a half inch or a quarter of an inch cut off.
Right, because it starts to drive you crazy so fast.
Mm-hmm.
When it's short, right? As soon as it starts growing. So anyway, I'm glad to have a haircut.
Well, I'm sure it will make you extra sassy today.
That's right. Watch out.
So today we are continuing off of what we talked about last week on how to work through backlogs. And today we want to talk about how to prevent those pileups, how to create a system so that those backlogs don't occur in the first place.
Yes, I love talking about stuff like this, but I always feel like a disclaimer needs to be made, which is stuff happens, and even when we have systems designed to prevent pileups, you're probably going to get pileups. So don't feel bad if you create a system that occasionally fails. Just get back on the horse.
Well, and we touched on that last week that you mentioned, a lot of times things tend to pile up during transitions, major transitions or even smaller ones. And I was noticing that one of the reasons that I have a backlog is the transition of changing from 2019 to 2020, and I didn't follow my system to make that transition.
Right. But having a system in place allows you to remedy the situation from as soon as you make those, transfer those files, you're in a great shape to move forward without any more pileups.
Right.
So systems are good even when they're not working for you. Right.
Yes. And I think it is just worth saying that, though, that it's totally normal for your systems, for you to maybe not work your systems all the time. But, the more you can, the fewer pileups you'll have, the less backlog you'll have to work through, and the smoother things will go. So it's always nice to work towards using your systems as much as possible.
Agreed. Yeah, absolutely. I was just going to say we call it backsliding, organizers. Yes. And probably other people. And backsliding is not only natural; it's inevitable. I think in general. But
yes.
But
in fact, I'm pretty sure that
we
did an episode on backsliding.
Oh, hey, how about that? This is episode 93. I have no recollection of that, but I'm sure it was excellent.
Well, we'll put a link to it in the show notes.
Yes.
So if people want to check that out, they can check that out.
That's excellent.
Yeah. But the things that we talked about the most last week were email, mail, paper mail, and just general papers. Those are the things,
filing and so forth.
Yeah, and those are the things that seem to pile up the most frequently for people, or sort of are universally piling up And so we thought we'd start with systems for those things.
Right. So email, our email clients allow us so much opportunity to prevent pileups using filters or rules or whatever the email client calls it. But taking a few minutes to set up a folder for a certain type of mail, maybe it's my example, I get a daily digest of a email communication forum for the National Association of Productivity and Organizing Professionals members, and I love reading it. And it goes directly into a folder. That's all that's in the folder, and I can easily see if I have an unread message in there, and then read it. So if there's a few days where I can't read it, I might have 3 messages. But actually, I love reading it so much. I read it with my coffee every day. So, but it's nice. It doesn't get lost in my email inbox. It's right there, and I could either delete it when I've read it or keep it for some sort of archive, which wouldn't make much sense since it's archived on the website, but I do it anyway. Because I have a tendency to hang on to email.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's such a great idea to have the email automatically, the more automatic you can make your systems, the easier they are to stick with. Mm-hmm. And this is a great way to do that. I don't right now, but maybe I should, given the state of my email. I used to have a folder that I put, that I would have the newsletters that I really enjoyed reading go into, and I called it the library. Mm. And so then I would go into the library and peruse things to read when I had a few minutes, and I enjoyed being able to do that, and I enjoyed having those things sitting there waiting for me, so they didn't feel like, if they're sitting in my inbox, I feel like, oh, I have to do this, but I don't have time to do it now. And if I archived it, then it's like it's, out of sight, out of mind. Mm-hmm. So having a place where they could go, and it was only filled with things that I thought were interesting and fun to read, then I enjoyed going into that folder and looking for something to read.
Right. It doesn't clutter up your inbox or make you feel like you have to read it under pressure when it's not the appropriate time, or tempt you when you should be doing something else in your email inbox rather than reading the fun newsletters. And a lot of people will also have a dedicated email address for when they make purchases online. And whenever you make a purchase, it seems like you end up on a newsletter, and all this stuff just keeps coming. And if you have an email that's the only thing you use it for, that stuff can land into that inbox, and you can just delete it all if you want, or what I do is let it linger for a while, and then if I'm hoping I have a promo code of some sort for a place, I can just search for messages from that place. But keeping those things out of my inbox, my business inbox, is really helpful.
Yeah, I wish I would have done that, but I guess there's nothing stopping me from doing that going forward.
That's right. When you're cleaning out your inbox, maybe that's the time to unsubscribe from stuff and then resubscribe with a different email.
That brings up another point, that one of the systems is, or one part of a email system is unsubscribing.
Yes.
Unsubscribe to things you don't read.
It takes so little time, and it can be really, I don't know. I mean, I feel like I let an unwanted email, like from I don't think I signed up for, or I didn't remember signing up for, hit me 20 times before I finally press that unsubscribe and get it out of my life. Yeah.
And it would be like, I don't even know who this person is, and then I'll just let it sit there for a while. If I don't recognize it and it doesn't seem like something that I want to spend time with, get rid of it now. Right. And we can be pretty sure that whoever sent it isn't going to be insulted by your unsubscribing. Right. And I have a little bit of a different perspective when I'm sending out emails myself for my list. And when someone unsubscribes, I feel good about it. Like, I feel happy that they've made the choice that that they've gotten the information they needed, or this isn't right for them, or whatever, and that they're taking this opportunity to get the information that's most valuable for them in their inbox.
Wow.
And it's so nice.
That's so
to feel that way.
evolved of you. I think that's amazing. But no, I think that you're right. That's what we want for our clients. We want them eliminating unwanted things or excess things. And if they consider our newsletters not valuable, why should we? And plus, I don't know about your email system, but it costs me a penny for everyone I send out. So I can save money if they unsubscribe.
Yeah. But I think it's just great that when we sort of exercise that opportunity to, because I feel like I've remained subscribed to things because I don't want people to feel bad if I unsubscribe. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then it becomes this whole weighty thing.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous to think that people would feel bad. Especially
or that they would
companies.
even notice.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
But,
they may, but whatever. It's like, I don't know. It just is what it is. It's not a personal
Right.
thing.
Yeah. So if you can unsubscribe from those things without guilt, you can make your inbox easier to deal with.
Absolutely. And that's a huge step in the right direction of
Right.
Preventing the email piling up and being able to stay on top of it.
Right.
Whatever
And
your inbox 0, inbox a dozen, inbox 100, whatever feels right for you.
Right. And, trying to make a commitment to daily attention to it is so helpful, right? As we talked about, daily habits are so much easier to create. And if you only have one day's worth of email landing in your inbox that you have to deal with, it can go very quickly. Giving it your attention on a daily basis, I think, is a great way to stay on top of email. And it's just so, it takes such a burden away. There's something about a fullish inbox. It doesn't have to be 10,000 to feel bad. 10,000 must feel terrible. But, even 100, when mine goes into the double digits, which it does frequently, it just feels so good to get it down to, I like to go to 0. That doesn't happen as often as it used to. But if I can get it down to 20, I'm happy. In fact, that was my goal on my task list today, inbox 20.
Yeah.
And I got it to 40.
Nice.
But, yeah. I'll get it to 20 by the time the day is over, I bet. It's at 42 at this moment. Yeah.
One other thing I noticed that I was doing with email that was causing problems for me is that I would look at it when I didn't necessarily have time to deal with whatever was in my inbox. And so when I made a very conscious decision to only look at my email when I had the time and the opportunity to do something with whatever was in there, it was a big change.
Yes, that's a great shift, right? Because so many of us check, speaking for myself, I check my email on the slide if I'm standing in the grocery store line or whatever, and then it's red, it's not marked unread. My eye skips over it when I'm sitting down to actually process email. Yeah, it's not a great scenario.
Right. And then it becomes one of those things, you've seen it so many times, it's both invisible and clutter. I don't know how it's both of those things, but you know what I mean?
But it is. Absolutely. You don't see it, but there it is, cluttering things up. That's so interesting. Yeah. So what your strategy is to set to sort of mindfully process your email and try not to look at it when you're not in that mindful mode?
Yes. So to be like, I'm going to spend 15 minutes with my email and then actually process the email for 15 minutes.
And don't look at it at other times.
Right. That's when I am managing my email at, in the best possible way. That's how it works best for me. Because that glancing at it multiple times and not doing anything with it, it feels like it drains so much energy from me.
Yeah, it's not helpful.
Yeah,
it really isn't. Yeah. Oh, that's great. I think that's definitely something to aspire to, and would be a really positive shift for me.
Oh, good. Well, and the thing is, you don't have to do that perfectly either. I mean, you can glance at your email, but if you set maybe 2 times a day where you look at it and process it, and then try not to look at it the rest of the day, or not look at it unless you have a minute or two to respond to whatever may show up. It doesn't have to be like, you don't have to do everything, but just know that when you look at it, you have the time to respond to whatever email you may look at.
Right, and so many emails don't require response. All they require to get them out of your inbox is for you to either delete them or file them or archive them. And sometimes that's hard to do, or doesn't get done. So just taking making it a habit to try to, whether it's the end of the day or right after you've read it, to try to get that clutter out of your box, so that the messages that actually require a reply are in front of you. That can be really helpful.
Yeah, and so maybe handling it like we were talking about last week with paper mail, and but you were talking about how one of the ways to start with that is to immediately take out the circulars and coupons and things that you don't need to hold on to, and put those in the recycling bin immediately. And so, maybe that's what you do with your email too, is you get that low-hanging fruit on a daily basis, and then set a specific time later in the day when you can sit down and really respond to whatever you need to respond to.
Yeah, and one thing I'll do is mark those emails that need a response with a flag, and then I'll sort my email inbox by flags. I typically only use one color, but you can use multiple colors in Mac's mail program, and they're at the top then. So the rest of them are by date, but the flagged ones are at the top, so I can easily see what requires a reply. That works well for me.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, let's talk a little bit about paper and filing and mail.
Okay.
My favorite system is the system you turned me on to, which is Freedom Filer, which changed my life. I'm not exaggerating.
That's excellent. You should do a Freedom Filer commercial.
Yeah. But Freedom Filer is a system that you buy the set, and it's labels, and the thing I like about it is that you have 2 sets, one for even year and one for odd year. So you rotate them through, and that's what I was saying, that I hadn't rotated my even year and odd year yet. I hadn't brought the even year in, and so I'm backed up for my 2020 filing. But short of that, I generally find it so much easier to file stuff. And I have set up my files, like I mentioned before, based solely on what I need for tax purposes, or I just think about it in terms of what I will need in the future. So if I need to return something, use a warranty, sell something, whatever documents I may need to do something in the future, my taxes, whatever, those are what I keep. And so those are the files that I have, and I don't have any other files.
Right. And that's it's such a great idea, and I think a critical part of stopping pileups, because if so many people aren't as discerning about what they want to keep until they start filing. And so they just throw all the paper together and then deal with it at once. But if on a daily basis, or however often the paper comes into your life, you are setting aside for filing only those things that you know you need to keep, and then perhaps setting aside time on a weekly basis, or even as the paper comes in, if it's if your file cabinet is easily accessible, you can stay on top of it. I always tell clients, don't create a to file, just file.
Yeah.
Right. So
it seems bad enough that I have it to file. My inbox on my desk acts as a to file pile.
Yeah.
And that seems bad enough.
Right. But we'll often create like an action box for clients to handle their incoming mail, and there's a temptation. Well, in fact, Freedom Filer comes with a to file label, and there's a temptation to put a to file in that box, but I urge them not to, because that's the one that gets full really fast.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. We should maybe petition Freedom Filer to get rid of that sticker.
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah. Because with as they say, the Freedom Filer is very easy to file into. So Seth, the guy who started it, says it's as easy to file into one of the monthly files as it is to throw it away. File it in the trash can.
Yeah. But I have my business stuff in Freedom Filer. I have, I converted Mike to it. We have our personal stuff in it. And then I have my mom's financial stuff set up in Freedom Filer too.
Oh, that's great. Well, we will definitely put a link to Freedom Filer in the show notes, because it's not just a file label set. It's a filing philosophy, and I think it's solid. I've been using it since 2007, I think.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. Again, it's, I sort of feel like when we were talking about YNAB, you don't have to use this system, and there are some benefits to using it, but the main thing is to keep it as simple as possible, and so that it's easy to file and easy to find what you need. So, it needs to be, I don't want to say complicated, and sophisticated doesn't seem like the right word, but
complex.
You know what I mean?
I mean, as complex as it needs to be, and not any more than that.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. I was just thinking about, we were talking before we hit record, that your cartooning has created a certain amount of paper coming into your life. Do you
Yes.
Do you need a process for that, or system?
I do. I need a place for it to go. Right now on my desk, I have 3 sketchbooks and a big pile of loose papers with cartoons on them. And then I just started an urban sketching course, and so I'm sure that's going to generate its all own piles of paper too. So I definitely need a system to keep all of this stuff, because it's stuff that I want to keep. I love to look at my drawings and see how far I've come.
Sure. Oh, absolutely. Well, I mean, it seems to me that one thing is to have be doing your sketching in bound books, so that they're not loose papers. And that's what you're doing now, I think, with your cartoon.
I primarily have used bound books, but actually the story we told about when I chatted up the little girl, Mia, I actually sketched that because I didn't have any paper with me. It's sketched on the back of my order to get a mammogram.
Well, that's very special.
And when I first moved to using watercolor brush pens, I didn't have a bound sketchbook with watercolor paper in it, and I just had sheets of it. And so I have a number of sheets before I got a notebook.
Right, and these are things you want to keep.
Yeah.
Right. So I have this problem as well with my hand lettering practice. So, and I do think it's fun to keep old stuff so you can see your progress. And I just bought, I have a couple of Big Zo, I believe is the brand. They're boxes, cardboard boxes with lids that are covered in decorative paper that I bought at the Container Store. And they're a nice size. They're bigger than 8.5 by 11, but not a lot bigger. And they stack nicely. And something like that could work on, if you had a shelf you could put it on. Its footprint is big enough that you might not want it on top of your desk. But if you have file drawers in your desk, you could also file them, presumably. And if I were you, I'd be doing it by date or month or whatever, just so you can keep them in chronological order. Because that's part of the point, right? And keeping them. And if you're not already dating everything, maybe start. I bet you are, though, right?
Not everything.
Yeah.
Although luckily, since it's all homework, I've had to post it online so I can tell exactly, I can go online and find out when I did things. But it's a good idea to go back and put the dates on things. And then I think as you're talking, I want to keep everything together. And right now I have sort of a disparate set of books and papers and things, but I think maybe setting aside a portion of a bookshelf that I have in my office to put this stuff in, so I can keep it in roughly chronological order, even though it's not all similarly sized. And then I'm trying to use the same size sketchbooks going forward.
Oh, nice. And then they'll sit nicely on a bookshelf.
Yeah.
But if you used one of these boxes or, some sort of container on a bookshelf, flat, so that you could just put the next thing on top, if it's loose paper, then it doesn't matter what the size is, which is nice.
Right.
Just put them all together. And as, did you just say this? Or did I think it? Oh, gosh. That if you're putting them in, if you set up a system after you've assembled all your loose drawings in chronological order, and the system is that you put new ones on top, then they stay in chronological order.
Right.
Yeah. Did you say that?
I did
already?
not.
Oh, okay.
But
yeah, that's a simple system, which I love.
Yeah.
Simple is good.
Yeah, that's great. Well, and I think that points out one of the things to sort of think about universally when you're thinking about systems is, what's the problem that you're trying to solve? And how, if you're saving something, how will you want to access it in the future? And so like with my drawings, it is great to be able to access them chronologically, because that's part of the appeal of keeping them, is to see how my drawing has changed over the months that I've been doing it. And then, my plan is to have, a single sketchbook for a trip. And so then, I'll be able to have those in chronological order and be able to find, if I want to find something from, in the future, when I want to look back at something I did when I was in Portugal, then I can find that based on, the date and, where I would find it on my shelf. But so think about why you want to access this stuff in the future, and, why it's important to you to keep it, and how you will be accessing it. And it's the same thing for filing. That's why I only file tax stuff, is because that's the only things that I need.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I know when I'm working with a client who says, "Oh, I want to keep that item," sometimes I'll ask, "Why are you keeping it?" And I'm not asking them to challenge them about their keeping it, but rather it's not clear to me, and I need to know in order to figure out how to organize it.
Right.
So if you're keeping a piece of paper as a memento, it's completely different than if you're keeping it to use because it has information on it that you want to refer to.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's all really solid. And I'm excited for you that you're going to have these hand-drawn records of your travels. That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I got really inspired at my urban sketching class. The woman who taught the first one brought some of hers, and she doesn't even use sketchbooks. She takes big pieces of paper and cuts them and then stitches them together and creates these accordion books. They're amazing. So it feels like a travel log that you can sort of... It's so cool.
I think I can picture what you're talking about. So she can like stretch it out and see page after page. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's really amazing. And so and then things sort of run together, so it's not like one page. It's like she'll draw something over the fold. And so
Neat.
she just takes up however much space she needs. And like one thing she drew was this symphony that they went to. And so that took up like almost 2 leaves of the accordion. And it was such a great idea. I loved it.
Oh, neat. Cool.
Yeah. But yeah, so knowing why or how you want to access something, why you want to have access to it, can help you create this system that will work well for whatever it is that has been piling up for you.
Yep.
Yeah. So anything else to say about that?
No, I think we've done it justice.
Excellent. Well, we want to hear from you, our listeners. Do you have something that tends to pile up that you would like some thoughts on how to create a system for it? We would love to help you. You can give us a call at 413-424-GTGE. That's 4843. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Getting to Good Enough, and on Twitter at GTG Enough. And then it's always great to ask questions or provide comments on the show notes at gettingtogoodenough.com. But for now, this is Shannon Wilkinson in Portland, Oregon.
And Janine Adams in St. Louis, Missouri.
And we hope that good enough is getting easier for you. These shows always get me fired up to go do stuff.
Excellent. Well, go do it.